Hi friends, once again welcome back on our YouTube channel. This is the next lecture of quantum mechanics in which today we will discuss about de Broglie's hypothesis. In the current lecture, we will discuss about de Broglie hypothesis, de Broglie wavelength of different particles and Bohr's hypothesis from de Broglie's hypothesis. So first of all, de Broglie hypothesis. Now, what is de Broglie hypothesis? The various phenomena concerning which radiations are divided into three parts: phenomena in which radiation interact with radiations, and in this category interference, diffraction, polarization, etc. So all these phenomena can be explained by wave nature of radiation only. Second one are the phenomena in which radiation interact with matter, photoelectric effect, Compton effect, etc. comes into this category. These phenomena can be explained by particle nature or quantum nature of radiation only. So, photoelectric effect and Compton effect we have already described in our earlier lectures. And third one are phenomena in which neither radiation interact with radiation nor radiation interact with matter. Rectilinear propagation, refraction, etc. comes into this category. These phenomena can be explained either by wave nature or particle nature of radiation. It means in some cases radiation has a particle nature, and in some cases it has a wave nature. Thus, we can say that the radiation behaves both particle and wave nature, that is dual nature. According to de Broglie, a wave is always associated with every moving particle. This wave is known as de Broglie wave or matter wave. From quantum theory of radiation, energy of photon is given by E equal to h nu. Here h is Planck's constant and nu is frequency of radiation. So nu is the frequency of incident photon. And from Einstein's theory of relativity, E equal to square root of m naught square c raised to 4 plus p square c square. This formula we have derived in our relativity lectures. So you can consider that lectures. If m naught equal to 0, it means particle is at rest, then from E equal to root of m naught square c raised to 4 plus p square c square, if we put m naught equal to 0, then E equal to square root of p square c square or equal to pc, but equal to h nu. So if we compare equal to pc and equal to h nu, then or p equal to h nu by c. Here p is the momentum of particle and momentum shows the particle nature, and c equal to nu lambda. So if we substitute c equal to nu lambda, then p equal to h nu upon nu lambda. So nu and nu will be cancelled out. So P equal to h by lambda. See here, P is the momentum of particle and lambda is the wavelength. So P shows the particle nature and lambda shows the wave nature, or lambda equal to h by P, and it is known as de Broglie wavelength. So according to de Broglie, lambda equal to h upon P, and it represents the wavelength associated with a photon. Since momentum is characteristic of particles and wavelength is characteristic of wave, hence a wave is always associated with a particle. Now conclusion. Since lambda equal to h upon P and P equal to mv, so lambda equal to h upon mv, the wavelength of a particle is independent of the charge or the nature of the particle. The electromagnetic wave are produced only due to the charged particle, hence the matter wave are not electromagnetic in nature. Since lambda is inversely proportional to V, and also from here lambda is inversely proportional to mass, it means faster is the particle, smaller is its wavelength, because lambda is inversely proportional to V and also lambda is inversely proportional to m. So heavier is the particle, smaller is its wavelength. If V is comparable to C, then we use relativistic mass, and according to relativistic mass, m equal to m naught upon square root of 1 minus v square by c square. So if we substitute m equal to m naught upon root of 1 minus v square by c square here, then lambda equal to h upon m naught v square root of 1 minus v square by c square. Now, de Broglie wavelength of different particles. So, de Broglie wavelength of different particles. If an electron is accelerated by applying a potential difference V, then energy acquired by it is given by E equal to small e into V. Here small e is the charge of electron, and the kinetic energy of electron is equal to half m naught v square. Here m naught is rest mass of electron and v is the velocity of electron. So small v is velocity of electron. Now from this equation, v square equal to twice e upon m naught, or v equal to square root of 2e upon m naught. If relativistic variation of mass with velocity is ignored, then m equal to m naught, because actually m equal to m naught upon root of 1 minus v square by c square. If relativistic variation of mass with velocity is ignored, then m equal to m naught. So this m naught can be replaced by m. So v equal to square root of twice e upon m, or, and since e equal to small e into v, so velocity of electron v equal to square root of twice e capital V upon m. Now the de Broglie wavelength lambda equal to h upon mv, but v equal to a square root of twice ev upon m. So if we substitute v by a square root of twice ev upon m, then lambda equal to h upon a square root of twice me capital V. And if we substitute the value of Planck's constant, mass of electron, charge of electron, then lambda equal to 12.27 upon square root of V in terms of angstrom. For any charged particle, lambda equal to h upon a square root of twice mqv. So this small e is replaced by charge of particle q. So lambda equal to h upon a square root of twice mqv. For any massive particle, lambda equal to h upon a square root of twice me. Here E is the kinetic energy. If a matter particle at absolute temperature capital T is in thermal equilibrium, then energy E equal to 3 by 2 kT. Here K is Boltzmann's constant, but lambda equal to h upon square root of twice me. So this E can be replaced by 3 by 2 kT. So 2 and 2 will be cancelled out. So lambda equal to h upon square root of 3m kT. Now Bohr's hypothesis from de Broglie's hypothesis. So Bohr's hypothesis from de Broglie's hypothesis. According to Bohr's postulate, an electron can revolve around the nucleus only in those orbits whose angular momentum is an integral multiple of h upon 2 pi. So angular momentum mvr equal to nh upon 2 pi. Here h is Planck's constant, whereas n is integral number. Since a wave is always associated with a particle according to de Broglie hypothesis, so 2 pi r is equal to n lambda. Here 2 pi r is the circumference of stable orbit, and according to de Broglie hypothesis, lambda equal to h upon mv. So if we substitute lambda equal to h upon mv here, then 2 pi r is equal to nh upon mv, or mvr equal to nh upon 2 pi, and this is actually Bohr's hypothesis. In this way we can get the Bohr's hypothesis from de Broglie's hypothesis. So here we end our session. In the current session we have discussed about de Broglie hypothesis and de Broglie wavelength for different particles. So goodbye.